Hi, beautiful. If you're listening to this and seeing me right here, that means that you already got your first email from me and you were able to download my PDF I sent you with the 7 painless strategies on how to get rid of the diet mentality. If you have not downloaded them, go ahead and do that. And I apologize, sometimes the emails do go to spam with the promotions folder. I'm very sorry, I have no control over that, but that's just what happens a lot of times with Gmail. So, in today's and the next 4 emails that you're going to be getting, you're going to be watching videos where I discuss these strategies with you. So, this video number 1 is going to have the first 2 strategies of the 7. And number 1 is looking at how the diet mentality and diets have affected our lives. And the second one is get rid of the rules of the diet mentality. And if you see me that I'm looking down or to the side, it's because I have a notebook with notes to make sure that I don't leave anything out. So let's talk about rule number 1. If you have your PDF, it would be great if you're looking at it, and we're going to expand. And of course, you can always reply to the email if you have any questions, or if you practiced something like this before, or something that has helped you, or any questions that you have, please reply to the email and I will personally reply back to you. So number 1, let's look at number 1. Number 1 says, let's look at how diets and the diet mentality have interfered with our lives. And when we look at that, we're going to look at all areas of our lives. So if you're married, your family life with your spouse, with your children, your social life, your professional life, if you work inside or outside the home, if you're at school, your school life, if you're at home, your family with your parents, whatever that means for you. So let's look at how that has interfered with you in your life. I want you to think and take a note, right, of all the diets that you have done so far. So if you've done the Atkins diet or a low carb diet or whatever diet it's called, write it down, and then I want you to think about and write down, how did you feel before you started a diet. Usually before I start a diet, I'm very excited, very hopeful, like this is a diet that's going to fix everything, right? During the diet, when at first I feel good, and then about maybe 7 to 10 days into the diet, if not before that, I'm starting to feel miserable and deprived and moody and upset and have no energy, and I'm just this monster that nobody wants to be around. And after the diet, I usually feel ashamed and guilty and just super down on myself and beating myself up, thinking I did something wrong, there's something wrong with me, that I'm just not doing well. So that's my example. I don't know what it is for you. I do want you to see the different diets and write them down. I don't care if you've done 1 or 10 or 20 different ones. Write them down, everything, all the diets that you remember. And I want you to try and think about how you felt before, during, and after that diet. And then I want you to think about how each one of those diets, yes, it looks like a lengthy process, but you know what? The work is worth it, and it has to be done. If you want to really get rid of the diet mentality and live a true life of freedom, you have to do the work. And it's better to do the work now and get it over with than keep dragging that through the rest of your life, right? And then I want you to look at how each one of those diets, or the most, important diets or painful diets that you've done in your life, how has that affected your life, your personal life, your family life, with your marriage, with your work, with school, your social life? Have you deprived yourself from going to birthday parties or surprise parties or baby showers or dinners with your husband or whatever it is, because you are basically telling yourself that you can't go to these places because they're going to be foods and drinks that you are not allowed to either eat or drink? How has that affected your life? And how does that make you feel? And how does that affect your relationships? Have you lost any friends or had arguments with your spouse or your family members or your child because of your extreme restrictions on what you can or cannot eat, what foods are allowed in your home or not allowed, and how has that affected you? How does it make you feel? And how has it affected your relationship with your loved ones and the closest to you? What does that look like for you? I know in my situation, I had we're military family, so we don't have a lot of family around. It's my husband, my daughter, and I, and of course my friends. And in a lot of situations, I remember having a lot of arguments with my husband, Chris, because I was like, we can't do that, or we can't buy that food, or we can't drink that. And if he did it and I didn't do it, then I would make him feel bad for doing that. And it was causing a lot of arguments. And a lot of times I would avoid social settings or going to dinner or lunch with friends because I knew that they were going to be going to places that I was not allowed, quote unquote, to eat or to drink. I did not lose any friends in the process. I work from home, so it didn't directly affect me in my profession. But I'm curious to see what things you can come up with that have actually affected. I know people that have lost jobs and have lost friends and have gone to extreme measures in their marriage and with their children, with older children. And I'm curious to see what are those things look for you in your life, in your situation, with each diet that you have done. Number 2, it's one of my favorite ones, which is get rid of the diet rules. In dieting, you and I know there's so many rules, right? So we weigh all the time, we measure all the time, and we count everything. So those are the 3 things that I want to just get out of the way right now. I don't want you to wait anymore. The scale goes out the window. I don't want you to measure anything else, a little, whatever of this, and I can't have more of that when you're cooking and baking or whatever. And I don't want you to count anything else. No more counting calories, no more counting anything. Anything that has to do with numbers and diets, if you're trying to get rid of the diet mentality, they don't go well together. They need to get out of your life. This will bring so much freedom and open so much space for you to do things that you really do care about and you really do love. So this is the thing, and you will probably hear me say this in other videos. We think that we have to do things a certain way just because that's just the way that we've always seen it. So we think that it's just these diets are available to us, so we reach a certain point in our lives, and then we feel like that's our next step, which I completely understand. But these things are sold to us like we're going to be this person or feel a certain way once we look a certain way or once we are a certain weight. And that is not true. For example, I wish I could be a more outdoorsy person or a more sporty person. After I lost 25 pounds, guess what? I'm not more outdoorsy than I was a year ago. I don't like sports more than I did a year ago. If you want to become somebody or you have goals for yourself, do it because you want to, right? If I want to experiment with being outdoorsy or trying a new sport, I can do that at any weight. Don't think that you have to be a certain weight or look a certain way for you to be who you want to be or find that partner or get that job or get that promotion. It doesn't work that way. It just doesn't. Those are the first 2 rules. First, I want you to dig very, very deep and do the work. I don't care if it takes an hour or 3 hours. Get somebody, maybe your spouse, your best friend that knows all the diets that you've been through, and ask them questions, those people next to you. How it may be painful to hear, right? How was I acting when I was on that diet? Because sometimes we don't see it because we're in, right? But I can promise you other people will probably remember how you were acting and how you were feeling if you don't remember during that diet and after that diet. And how did that affect your relationships with yourself, with your family, with your job, with your community? And get rid of the rules. No more scales, no more counting, no more measuring inches or anything like that. I can promise you this will free up so much space for you to actually focus on things that really matter, like spending time with your family and working on your mindset and working on yourself. These are the first two strategies, and I'm sorry. I got this. I know this is so random. I got Invisalign in my teeth. I have the bottom one, so if I feel like I have a lisp, and it just sounds funny. So I apologize. I keep making mistakes when I'm talking. You guys, you're going to be receiving more emails from me, and I'm going to keep on talking. And the purpose of this is so you can see me, you can hear me, and you know I am here. I'm a real person. I know what I'm talking about because I have done it myself, and I know it works. And we're going to do it step by step together. Now, I want you to reply to this very email, and I will answer you, reply to you back. And tell me, do you have any questions? Do you have any concerns? Do you need any help sitting down and writing down these things about your diet? and how to get rid of the rules. Do you think it's too hard? Do you think it's too difficult? Have you tried this before? Have you failed? What have you tried before? And how do you feel that I can help you this time make it different? So yes, you guys, I am excited I'm here. Thank you for allowing me to speak into your lives. I am here for you, and I am looking forward to hearing back from you with your questions or your comments or your hesitations or anything that you want to let me know. The more that I know about you, I feel the better that I can help you get to our goal, which is to get rid of the diet mentality and find that freedom and that confidence and that energy and that peace that we are really looking for. So I will see you guys next week, and you guys take care. Bye.